Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life. Today I am talking about a topic that many of our clients struggle with and something that I've struggled with all my life, and that is weight loss. Now, obviously, as we get older, it's even harder to lose weight, particularly as we're going through perimenopause and menopause. And you might be finding that you used to try or it used to work well with diets in the past, of certain diets or upping the exercise, and now it's proving to be really difficult to lose the weight that you need to. So what's going on? Well, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm going to just cover this. It's a long topic today because I've got 27 different reasons why you may be struggling with weight loss today. So I'm going to go through each one. Bear with me. And then you can see if you've tried, I'm sure you've tried a few of these, or you're aware of most of them, but there may be something in here that you may haven't, maybe not be aware of or haven't tried before. So I'm hoping that's the case. So I'm going to start with number one. And number one is that you may be too stressed. Now, a stressed body hangs on to fat for dear life. Cortisol is your stress hormone. It likes to have an easy access fat store for emergencies, because when your body's in survival mode, it needs to get hold of that extra energy for your fight or flight response. So you can be on the best diet in the world, exercising as much as you need to, but if you're stressed out, it's almost going to be impossible to shift, particularly that belly fat that sits around the middle. So my tip here is make sure you're getting enough rest and relaxation, and even that 10 minutes a day of switching off that cortisol response can make a really big difference. Number two is that you might be running on empty. Now, when you're tired and exhausted, and the older we get, the more we have to juggle, it seems, you haven't got the energy to even be thinking about healthy foods. You're more likely to be reaching for foods that are quick and convenient and will give you a quick boost. Usually refined carbs, sugary snacks, processed foods, takeaways, that kind of stuff. And my tip here is, before you even try to change your diet, what you want to be doing is prioritizing your energy reserves. So making sure you're getting enough sleep. And I would say, firstly, to be taking some good quality supplements to get your energy back, because you're likely to be nutrient deficient. So starting the day, taking the supplements, go to my supplement link at the Happy Hormones website /shop-now for my recommended brands. And then you can also try starting the day with a good quality protein breakfast, because that's going to really help balance that blood sugar and give you some sustained energy through the day. A protein smoothie works really well here. If you can't be bothered to cook, you just shove a few things into the blender. And that's going to get you more energy so that you can start to feel better and start to make healthier choices through your day. Number three is all about your thyroid, because if your thyroid isn't working very well, it's killing your metabolism. Now, obviously, as we get older, thyroid problems are definitely more common, especially in women. So low thyroid can make you feel absolutely exhausted, and it's going to be impossible to lose weight if your thyroid is slow. So my tip here is to get yourself properly tested. We can give you information on that, and support your thyroid with the nutrients it needs. So it needs vitamin A, zinc, iodine, protein, selenium, amongst other things. So making sure you've got that nutrient dense diet, but also some good quality supplements, will actually help your thyroid as well, depending on what's causing it, obviously. Number four is about your gut. Your gut microbes might be out of balance. So did you know that your gut flora actually has a really critical role in regulating your weight? Studies that have shown that people struggling with obesity have different types and less diversity of bacteria in their gut. It's really interesting. And microbial imbalances can also cause hormone issues, as well as cravings for sugar and carbs, and that causes more insulin, more fat storage. So my tip here is to rebalance your gut flora as much as possible with things like fermented foods, sauerkraut, kefir, kombucha, live yogurts, prebiotics, onions, leeks, garlic, green bananas, cold potatoes, and or good quality probiotic supplement. Feel have a great new one called Daily Biotic that I'm really liking at the moment. Number five is that you might be eating foods that don't agree with you. So if you're sensitive to a particular food, it can cause all sorts of problems like inflammation and stress to the body as well as things like bloating and headaches. But it also messes with your metabolism and your hormones, making weight loss extra difficult. So my tip here is to try an elimination diet to see whether that could be causing your weight gain. Things like Gluten and dairy are particularly common food intolerances, and I would take those out for 3 or 4 weeks and then reintroduce them one at a time and see if you have any further symptoms or if it helps with your weight loss. Number 6 is, your peri or postmenopausal. So menobelly is real, folks. It is due to lots of hormone fluctuations like estrogen, cortisol, and insulin. And these are all hormones that can be problematic through and beyond perimenopause. I talk about the 5-4 a lot, and that's 3 of them. And they can really mess with your weight as well. The other thing is that fat cells are a good alternative source of estrogen for your body. So it can be a bit reluctant to lose that valuable resource if your ovarian estrogen is declining. So my tip here is make sure that you're eating a healthy, nutrient-dense diet with minimal number of refined carbs. And I want you to be including some phytoestrogens too if you're not on HRT. If you are on HRT, you don't really need the phytoestrogens because the hormones are already being replaced. Also important are omega fats in your diet. So we're looking at lots of soy, flax seeds, chia, hemp seeds, avocado, lentils, beans, fish, nuts, olive oil, coconut oil, that kind of stuff. That's going to help you to get those healthy fats in. Number 7 is all about sleep. Now, if you're not getting enough sleep, it's a real weight loss hindrance. It's a bit of a vicious cycle, isn't it? You wake up exhausted after rubbish night's sleep, and then you're reaching for the wrong foods to give you quick energy, and then you end up even more tired and unable to sleep again. And poor sleep has been shown to increase your hunger hormone, ghrelin. So that's the hormone that's the grumbly one in your tummy that's making you hungry and making you reach for foods. So my tip here is to really focus on your sleep if you're a poor sleeper. Get to bed earlier, keep the bedroom dark, get your gadgets out of your room, build in some relaxed time before bed, and I've got lots more sleep tips in my sleep videos and blogs, so go to the website and just type in sleep into the search bar for that. Number 8 is you may be too toxic. Now, this is all to do with chemicals in our environment and our water, our food, our household and personal products that can build up in the body, and the body tends to store them away in our fat cells to keep them away from our other organs. It's quite clever like that. But it does hang on to those fat cells as a protective mechanism to not release those toxins into the body. So my tip here is to detox yourself if you can. So eat organic food where you can, filter your water, avoid processed foods, and swap your products, your household and your beauty products, to natural brands where possible, so you're not getting those xenoestrogens in. I've got another blog on those hormone disruptors if you want to go and look for that, if you want more info on that. We're on number 9. Number 9 is that you might be sitting too much. Now, our bodies aren't designed to sit down for hours at a time, especially not the way as much as we're sitting at the moment. It impacts on our circulation and our digestion, but it also increases the amount of insulin in our system, and we know that insulin is our fat storing hormone, so we need to be moving more. And I talk a lot about NEAT, this non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that's just anything that's not sitting down and anything that's not exercising. So that's just natural movement throughout your day, and that's been shown to increase your metabolism without actually doing any exercise. So that would be my tip for this section is, take regular breaks from sitting, do more natural movement wherever you can, set alarms for you to get up and walk around, try standing when you're on a phone call or on Facebook or whatever. I'm actually standing on my standing desk here, and just increase your natural movement because that's going to help. Number 10 is you're not eating enough fat. So if you've been on a low fat diet for a long time, or you don't eat enough healthy fats, you are more likely to be eating too much sugar. Low fat products often contain more sugar or food additives. We need good fats to be able to make our hormones, feed our brains and absorb our vitamins. And fat does not make you fat. So eating fat can actually help with weight loss. So my tip here is to avoid all low fat products, no skinny lattes, ladies. Eat more oily fish, more nuts and seeds and avocado and olive oils. Those are your healthy fats, and we need a good amount of those in our diet. And also it makes us feel full so that we're not reaching constantly for more food. Number 11 is you're not eating enough protein. So protein turns on your satiety hormones. That's kind of hard to say. Satiety? I don't know, something like that. Anyway, the hormones that make you feel full. Protein boosts your metabolism, it reduces cravings, and it keeps you feeling full for longer. So it also increases muscle mass, which burns more calories from your food. So my tip here is to eat a protein source at every meal. So this will include meat, fish, eggs, nuts, seeds, beans, pulses, lentils, dairy, organic soy, quinoa, or a protein powder of your choice, but just make sure it's really good quality. Number 12 is that you might be nutrient deficient. So not eating enough nutrient-dense foods, so fruit, veg, protein, healthy fats and fibre, can mean that you might not be getting the nutrients you need to function properly. And that means everything. It means your increases stress, but it's also about your metabolism. So my tip here is to, obviously, if you need professional advice on your diet and supplements, do go and seek that. But also invest in some good quality supplements to supply those basic nutrients if you're finding it difficult to get enough in your diet. And again, I will put the link on underneath for the ones we recommend to our clients. Number 13 we're up to. Number 13 is you might be popping too many pills. Now, regular use of painkillers, antibiotics, indigestion tablets, or even poor quality supplements or other medications can actually overburden your liver, and they can also damage your gut lining. And there are other side effects too, one of which is weight gain from many of these. So too many medications can cause a buildup of toxins and can upset your gut flora balance and all of these things. So my tip here is, obviously, if you need them, take them, but don't take them for granted. So just realize that all synthetic substances have to be detoxified in your liver. And maybe if you haven't checked with your doctor for a while, maybe you can go and have a review of any medications that you're on. Number 14 is you might be constipated. So the more blocked up your system is, the more you're going to be hanging on to toxins and excess weight. So my tip here is to make sure you're eating enough fibre and you're well hydrated. Number 15 is about diet, slimline, and no added sugar products. If something is labelled no sugar, they're probably using artificial sweeteners. These are not what they seem to be. They have been actually linked to weight gain, not weight loss. There's a whole thing about why that happens, but my tip here is to avoid them if you can. Just drink filtered water or herbal teas, or if you want something fizzy, maybe obviously fizzy sparkling water, or try kombucha. Kombucha is a fermented tea that comes in all kinds of different flavours where the sugar's been fermented, so it's quite low in sugar, and some of them are really delicious. Number 16 is that you might be eating on the run and bolting down your food. Now, this is one that I am guilty of, because when you're busy, it's so easy just to scoff food down at your desk or in the car or on the run, and when you eat too fast, you're not chewing your food and it can pass through the system undigested. So stress can add to that by inhibiting your production of stomach acid and enzymes as well. So not only you might be missing the nutrients from your food, but undigested foods can actually damage your gut lining and hamper your weight loss goals. So my tip here is to slow down, make time for maybe mindful eating, even if it's just 10 minutes. So turn off your gadgets, concentrate on the food, and don't read your emails while you're eating like I do, and chew each mouthful until it's liquid, and really appreciate your food and enjoy it. And that will, honestly, that message will translate into the gut and make everything flow better. Number 17 is you're drinking too much alcohol. Now, alcohol is not good news, I'm afraid. I've talked about this before. It's not just the empty calories, it's the way it messes with your blood sugar. It increases insulin, which is our fat storing hormone. It disrupts your sleep, it increases anxiety, and it can damage your gut lining as well. And it basically encourages you to eat more. So, you know, we've all had those late night carb munchies after too much wine. So my tip here is to cut down if you can, or cut it out even. Try having alcohol-free days during the week, or do a dry month and see how you feel after that. There are so many alcohol-free alternatives out there now. And like I said, kombucha is that fizzy fermented tea, which actually is a nice alternative to something, to have something fizzy in a glass. Number 18 is you might be dehydrated. How many of us actually drink enough water? This is a problem I struggle with as well, because I just kind of forget. And staying hydrated though is so important. Help flushing out those toxins, eliminating regularly, and circulating nutrients that we need to keep our metabolism going. So try to drink 1 to 2 litres a day of water. Try and filter that water if you can as well. You can add lemon or cucumber for flavour, and that's really nice too. But stay away from those flavoured waters that I'll come to in a minute, which can be full of sugar. Number 19 is too many ready meals, processed foods and takeaways. Right? Now, these days it's so easy to reach for something convenient when you're busy or you're tired, and you know these things are available at the tap of a phone. I get it, I'm tempted as well. The trouble is that none of this really helps with weight loss, even if it's one of the healthier processed foods, because processed foods, which means anything made in a factory, are mostly, not always, but mostly made with vegetable oils, because vegetable oils are pretty cheap. Unfortunately, they are the worst oils for your health and your weight. Many processed foods are full of sugar, additives, preservatives, chemicals, and what you really want to do is, not all of them, but what you want to do for your favourites is just check the label on things like ready meals, sauces, dressings, fruit yogurts, cereals, drinks, and just have a look at what's in there. Make sure you're happy with what's in there, and just check the sugar content, because actually it can be a lot of hidden sugar that you're not even aware of, that you're just consuming on a regular basis. Takeaways are also mainly cooked with vegetable oils and usually have quite a high salt sugar content. That's why they taste so nice. And the nutrient value of all these foods is likely to be much lower than a meal cooked with food, you know, that you cook from scratch, obviously. So my tip here is limit these foods as much as you can. Processed foods that are made with healthy oils like olive oil, there are lovely brands out there, like Mr. Organic is a good one. Biona usually have olive oil instead of veggie oils. A brand I love is Hunter and Gather as well. They make some nice foods. And then just look at how much you're eating on the takeaway front, and try and cook from scratch as much as you can. It's often just as quick actually to cook up a healthy omelette or a stir fry. Or you could try a recipe box service. Things like Green Chef or Mindful Chef are really healthy kind of recipe boxes. Or you can try and cook in bulk at the weekends and freeze in portions if you like that kind of thing. Number 20 is you're not eating enough. Now, there are many reasons actually why not eating enough can cause weight gain or even sort of weight loss resistance. So you might think that calorie restriction or deficit is kind of a good way to lose weight, and it can be for some, but what can happen is that the body can move into survival mode because it thinks you're in a famine, and this is a major stress for your body. So that increases cortisol, and your metabolism tends to slow down to compensate for the lack of food. So that's just going to encourage your fat stores to stay exactly where they are. It can also affect other systems like your gut, your brain, and your hormone health. And it may reduce your muscle as the body starts to convert muscle to energy. So also getting enough nutrients can be another challenge. So my tip here is to make sure you're focusing on nutrient-dense foods and that you're not depriving yourself too much, because that's going to cause this stress. So eat until you feel 80% full, and don't ignore your hunger pangs. And if you need help with this, do seek out a good nutritionist who can help you. 21 is you're eating the wrong types of carbs. Now, as we get past 40 and into our menopause transition, we just can't handle carbs like we used to. We tend to have a slower metabolism, increased fat to muscle ratio, a less active lifestyle sometimes, and generally more stress. And this all means that we are more at risk of insulin resistance. So I'm not recommending avoiding carbs. That would be crazy, because you wouldn't be able to eat vegetables. But it's just the refined ones that we need to limit, and replace those with complex low GL carbs like whole grains, vegetable, fruit, veg, brown rice, oats, quinoa, beans, nuts, seeds, pulses. They're all types of complex low GL carbs, and that's going to keep your blood sugar balanced as well and reduce that insulin load. Number 22 is you're not doing the right exercise. Now, obviously in the past we've all been told to eat less and do more, and you know, sometimes we get a lot of clients saying, yes, I'm exercising like crazy and the weight is not moving. And there's a few reasons why this might be happening. You may be eating more. So exercise can make you more hungry, especially when you're doing a lot of cardio. and then you may end up eating more calories than you're burning. Or you're too stressed, because exercise increases cortisol levels, especially intense exercise. So if you're already stressed and you're doing too much exercise, it can be really counterproductive. It just can signal to the body to produce more cortisol and hang on to fat stores because your body's in survival mode again. Or you're not doing enough weight training. Now, building muscle is the most effective way to increase your fat burning. When you train your muscles, it burns more calories, it stimulates growth hormone and testosterone, which all increase your metabolism and help you burn fat for longer. So my tip here is to find the best exercise mix for you. So review what you're doing, and if you're doing too much cardio, you might want to be balancing that out with some resistance and weight training to increase that muscle and burn fat. And I would always add in some Pilates or yoga for your core strength, flexibility and balance. And walking, of course, is always good. Number 23 is another personal one for me. I'm ticking the boxes of a few of these. You're a serial yo-yo dieter. So you've done every diet going, you lose weight initially, you feel great, finish the diet and pile it back on again and some. So we know obviously these diets don't really work, but each new one seems to have so much promise, doesn't it? But when you deprive your body of calories, healthy fats, protein or nutrients, or, you know, to cut out a whole food group, it tends to go into survival mode again, trying to protect you. And that means your cortisol is going to be dominant, your cravings are going to kick in and your metabolism is going to crash. So my tip here is ditch the diets. Eat plenty of nutrient-dense, low GL foods so that you give your body the nutrients it needs to work properly. The weight will come off gradually, naturally, and hopefully sustainably. Number 24 is you're eating the wrong diet for your genes. Did you know that your genes impact the way you metabolize foods and how you deal with things like insulin, fat, and carbohydrates? So when we test our clients' DNA, it enables us to properly personalize your diet so that you can take advantage of your own genetic blueprint. And this can be the missing piece for many women who want more sustainable weight loss. So my tip here is, if this is interesting for you and you haven't tried it, contact us to find out more about our DNA testing, and you can work with us to find the best diet for you and your genes. Number 25 is that you might be a grazer. Now, if you're snacking between meals, the body is constantly using up the sugar stores for energy, and it doesn't always get around to burning fat stores. So my tip here is to leave 4 to 6 hours between meals, or you can try time restricted eating, which is a type of overnight fasting. So you eat within a window of 8 to 12 hours, and that just can help the body burn those fat stores for energy. 26, we're nearly there. 26 is you might be eating too much of the right things. So sometimes we're eating really healthy foods and we're not realizing just how much we're eating. So something like nut butter is one of mine. I mean, I could eat the whole jar, but you know, it is nutritious, but I don't want to be eating a whole jar of it. And then there's like healthy swaps that may seem to be healthier, but they may not be helping you if you're eating too many of them. So for example, oat milk, for instance. I know a lot of us are switching to nut milks, but oat milk particular has a much higher carb content than cow's milk or almond milk or soy milk. And if you're having a lot of oat coffees or oat milk with cappuccinos and things like that, which I tend to do, that can really add up during the day. Things like granola can have a way higher sugar content than other cereals. Cashew nuts have a much higher carb content than other nuts. Smoothies can be loaded with sugar if they're fruit-based. You know, some of those supermarket smoothies are, oh my goodness, so full of sugar. So have a look next time if you drink those on a regular basis. Porridge, supposed to be healthy, but it can be a really high GL food if it's topped with sugar or syrup. And things like flavoured water that I mentioned earlier, you can buy flavoured water now, but you know, look at that sugar content, and if it's not sugar, it'll be artificial sweeteners. So my tip here is just have a look at what you're snacking on and what you're eating, and maybe your portion size as well, but look out for hidden carbs and sugar in your healthy foods and see if something like that might be hindering your weight loss. And the last one, number 27, is you could be emotional eating. Now this is a biggie for us women particularly. I know it's really easy to reach for food when you're sad, stressed, angry, lonely, or just bored. But increasing awareness of why you're eating can really help help you to work out what to do instead and how to replace that. My tip here is just depending on how deep rooted your relationship with food is, you may need to work with a specialist practitioner on this one. So let us know if you want a referral from us, because we've got some great people who specialise in that area. So summing up, it's very easy to think of weight loss as a simple equation of eating less and moving more. But as you can see here, it's not the case, especially for women over 40 who have a lot going on underneath the surface. And believe me, I've struggled with my weight all my life. And total transparency here, menopause has put me back a few years, it really has. I'm still over my ideal weight despite knowing what I know. So while you need to explore your reasons for gaining weight, everyone's will be slightly different. I don't want you to stress about it. For me personally, now I'm in my 50s, I've found it helpful to switch my focus from how much I weigh on the scales to really being healthy and feeling strong. I'm not worried about how I look in a bikini anymore, thank goodness. But, yeah, it's annoying, but, it's not my focus. My focus is to really increase my chances of living a long and healthy life. That's what I really care about. So if you're struggling with weight loss or health issues, if you want some help from us, do contact us for more info on our testing and one-to-one support. We can help you find any hidden weight loss resistance that might be hindering you. And at the same time, let's work together on getting you ready for a long and healthy future. I hope you found that helpful today. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you soon.